Yeah, hi and welcome to Fly Fish Fly Tying. Yeah, nice to see you again, and let's tie a nice big baitfish pattern which you can use for pike, muskie, or even as a saltwater streamer for bigger baitfish. For bigger fishes. So I think this is a very large fly, so it's around 20-ish centimeters. Yeah, use a strong thread. And by the way, you will find the material list at the end of the video. So a strong thread is important here so that you really can make sure that you tie in tight and you can put a lot of pressure to your thread, because you tie with bucktail here. Yeah, so first round of bucktail, just tie in a little tail. So if you tie with bucktail, so tie it in a little looser, like 4 or 5 wraps of thread, then you can adjust your fibers where you want to have them. So I will cut this ends a little. Yeah, don't cut your thread. So happens to me too, but that also means you can do it again. Or yeah, you have seen me in other videos when that happened. So you can use a hackle plier, secure the thread, and then, you know, tie over with your tying thread. Okay, we will do another layer. You know, don't do too much material, so less is more here on this fly. And you see me, I'm not applying too much pressure to the material here, because otherwise it spreads out like you see on the shorter end. If you apply pressure, they really spread around the hook shank. And sorry, I have a little dust on my sensor of the camera. You see that it's technically annoying me a little because it's directly in the viewing field of the tie. But okay, I can't change it. I'm not skilled enough to remove this in the video editing program. Yeah, so now you take some flat wing feathers. I have a grizzly grayish here. I think every color would do it if you have these. So normally you have them for tying sand eels, like the normal flat wing sand eel patterns. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with this vise, so it's a very nice vise, tying vise. So I normally use a Diner King. This is a Petit Jean vise, because, you know, for the videos I can move it around, while my Diner King is pretty much fixed on my tying desk. So yeah, I think that looks already nice. Now I tie in some polar flash fibers. So now I give it a little more very tight, strong wraps, rounds of thread to really secure the material tight in the fly. And now you see me, you know, tying the tips to the eye of the hook. And this is not really like a hollow fly tying technique. You see I do some loose wraps. I secure it at the end a little more. So where the shorter fibers are, cut the fibers away. And then you want to pull your material backwards, so towards the tip of the hook end. Tie in this little loose, and now you see if I apply pressure, so they spread out nicely. So that's what you want to do on the belly side of the fly, and that's why I tie them this way in. You could really use a hollow technique where you not wrap over the fibers, where you just put a little tying spot, dubbing a thread clump in front of the fibers. So may I do a video about this, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube on how to tie hollow flies or the hollow fly tying technique. Yeah, spread them out and then apply some tight wraps more towards the eye of the hook, because you don't want to spread them too much up, because you want to have technically some kind of a flat profile on the back and a little more spread, larger, wider profile on the belly. Make the securing turns of your thread. And once you have done this, so tie in some more of the flesh. And you know, in my opinion, less flesh is better. So I don't like to use too much flesh in flies in general, because you know, I think fish gets spooked by too much flesh, because you know, a normal fish is not that fleshy, so they have their silver sides and this flashes if they turn, but it's not like the whole fish is flashing all the time. I think it's a lot about, you know, water pressures, etc., how the bait fish moves to the water too, if the big predator finds it. Yeah, so you will see me doing this a couple of times, and as said, I try to use not as much material as you may think. So this is not many. It's like if you bring this together, it's like 2, 3, 4, maybe 3 millimeters of material if you put it tight together. Yeah, and you see me gluing from time to time a little with the super glue here to secure the thread and the fibers. Yeah, push this backwards and always take your time to do as you want to do it. Fly tying is not a rush hobby in my opinion. It's really taking the time to get what you want, specifically if you're a beginner. So you know, don't rush yourself. Skills will come over time too. But also take your time and may, you know, loosen it again and do it again. So, because normally you will learn through potentially mistakes you make and, you know, through challenges you go through as a normal life. Yeah, by the way, you will find a material list at the end of the video. So I don't know if I said it. I'm happy for every subscriber. Thanks for watching, liking my last videos, subscribing to my channel. Yeah, you see, spread them around, put pressure. So here now I just put one on the layer. So, you know, I want to have just a little, yeah, what is it, like dynamic or contrast in the fly. So that's why I like to apply a couple of these hackles. But I don't go overly crazy. Yeah, some super glue again. Make sure the material is glued in nicely, and then also, you know, secure the wire, because the thread, because if you technically fish for pike, they have tooth, or every predator bait fish has tooth. So I think, you know, the better you protect your fly from thread loosening, the better it will keep in shape while fishing it and also catching some fish. All right, so just fishing it may, every fly holds, doesn't matter if you glue it, but if you catch some fishes and the teeth may break the thread here, then it's good if you have secured your thread with a little glue and not the whole fly loses every wings, etc. you tied in. Yeah, here the backwards technique again. Yeah, put your material back. You want to have them even on both sides of the hook. Put it in some loose wraps. Make sure everything sits where it should sit. So technically you want to cover the sides too, because otherwise it looks a little weird if the fly gets wet. because then, you know, your thread on the hook shank will become visible. Yeah, so now you put some layer on the back again, and you know, loose wraps, and the further you go to the eye of the hook, the stronger you can secure the material. You can apply pressure to the thread or tension. Yeah, cut everything off. Yeah, and this takes a little time to tie this fly, but you want to have the profile. Okay, now we apply some more flash. You see, I just tie in like 2-3 fibers. Yeah, tie in everything nicely. This looks very good. And yes, another hackle just on the back, as I said, just for contrast. And then, yeah, you know, secure everything. So now I take some Nordic pike hair, is it called? Not too much, just a little. It's a very long synthetic hair. I really very soft, so it really plays nicely in the water. Yeah, apply some super glue so that it can sink in your thread and secure everything and holds everything on place. So once you're done, you give it another layer, belly layer of bucktail. Yeah, and bucktail, you know, it's sometimes tough to get the right material with the longer fibers. So, but normally if you purchase it, there's longer versions and shorter versions available. Yeah, I think what is very important here to have very sharp scissors. That's really big help. Yeah, you see the fly really starts to build out nicely. Spread it around, as said. I think you know these steps, so but you see doing me over and over tight webs now, and then yeah, you tie in another layer of back material again, bucktail in white, and as said, not too much material. I lose a little more material for the back and a little less material for the belly. Yeah, and if you have these where you kink the material on the belly, you get these spots, so you need to take care that your thread does not go towards the eye of the hook and that it stays secured. So it happens to me too a couple of times when I tie these flies. So you could use a little thicker thread, so this is very slim and very durable. So, but a thicker thread would provide you like covering the bulb a little better, or the bubble. Some more pike hair and white, tight wraps. Yes, cut off the rest. You can secure with some glue. So some people use super glue. I've seen this also with UV resin. I have to say I prefer the super glue, and then for the head knot, for the whip finish, I use resin, UV resin. Some more super glue. Another layer for the belly. Go over the fresh glue with your thread a couple of times, so this really makes sure that it secures your thread. Yeah, tie in another round. Of bucktail. Nice and sharp scissors. Tight wraps. Some glue. Some more wraps. Okay, and then push the material back. As said, evenly to both sides, looser wraps, adjusting, and then apply pressure. Yeah, for the back, one last layer of white bucktail, and I will give it a topping with orange Nordic pike fiber here. I think here, yeah, you'll see. Yeah, look, the thread went towards the eye of the hook, so I will go tie it in, but then I go over again, adjust, and apply pressure. Pull strong, so some safety securing glue. So a little flash. Sorry, still my nose is running a little. Yeah, some orange pike hair. There's this Bigfish fiber, I think, which you could use too. It is like very long craft fur, but finer material. Yes, and we're coming close to the finish. One last layer of bucktail for the belly, and you see me tying this really close to the eye of the hook. Nothing different than all the other steps here. Yep. Cover your hook shank and tight ropes. Okay, now I use these salmon, orange, whatever bucktail for the back. There's a little bigger chunk of material. I will cover this with another layer of the pike hair. This gets a little tricky if you come close to the eye of the hook, so you will see me using a lighter to burn those fibers a little, but the risk with it is that you burn too much or you burn your thread, and technically it cuts. So anyway, you don't want to make your, you want to keep your scissors razor sharp too, so don't try to cut on the metal of the hook. So yeah, I will use a lighter here to get some of the material out of the hook eye. Does work normally pretty well. It's a little less effective with these natural material like the bucktail. So with the artificial material it's a little easier, the artificial hairs. Yeah, I think we're more or less ready with the fly. So what you normally do though, if you did whip finish it, so yeah, I will give it 2 more feathers at the sides, so just to give it more contrast again. But what you normally do if these fly is finished with a whip finish, before you glue the eye, you should put it under cold water. In cold water, really, you know, shape a little, see if the shape is correct. But this takes out a little of the bulkiness of the fly too. Let it dry a day and then glue the eyes on the other day. So I did that too here, so that I tied this one and then I took one I tied yesterday and glued eyes on just to show you how I do this. And this is today not the most fantastic way of doing it. You will see in a sec. But I really struggle with the second eye. Make your head nice, secure it with your whip finish. Whip finish it. I normally do 2 knots here, just to secure the head knots a little better. Anyway, glue it with either super glue or take clear vanish. So yeah, I use a medium sticky super glue here, which works very well. And then I tried with a very thin glue, which I used for, within tying here, and which you saw me using earlier. So this one works well. The other one does not work well, so the eye slips around. You see it's sliding, it's not securing, it's yeah, you see it's not as I have it, so I needed to take it off the fly again because I really didn't like it. You see it's still moving. Yeah, so I took it off, turned the fly on the side, applied some of the medium sticky glue, yeah, time to take it off. Put some of the other glue. yeah. So now I glue it on my finger. So yeah, so you see, I do not like to cut the videos at these edges, but yes. Yeah, this happens while tying, so don't worry guys. So this can happen. It's you know, yes, I should have done the video again, but you know, this is not a very comfortable position because I try to film this, so I always have my tripod in front of me, the camera in front of me, so it's not the most convenient and usual position to tie, which sometimes makes stuff a little harder to. Yeah, so now I take some UV resin, so that's a Solaris resin in thin. I apply some of the resin between the eyes, so to further stabilize them, secure them. And then you see me going around the head a little with some glue, so just to secure the knots, the head knot. I apply a little in between here too. Not too much, so I really don't want to have this very bulky head here as I do at some flies. So, you know, give it a couple of layers, just very thin layer of the UV resin. Cure it with your UV light, and then yeah, I think the fly is finished. I thank you very much for watching. If I earned your subscription today, I'm happy. Yep. Thank you for watching. Like this video, comment. May you want to tell me what you want to see next. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.